you're a realtor or you have a realtor, hopefully they know how to use the MLS, and that you might laugh at that. However, all realtors, just like attorneys, aren't created equally. So just because someone has a real estate license doesn't, and not only just because they have a real estate license, but even when they say that I've been doing this for 20 years, they might have only sold like 2 or 3 properties, you know? So we kind of laugh when people say that. There's a section in the MLS, I'm not gonna go too in detail because I know most people don't have the MLS, but if you look at this section right underneath marketing remarks, I'm just gonna put as is, because I'm looking for as is properties, right? Which I did, the search that I did, there's 2 of them. I already cheated. This is one that I like. It's in 63130, which is University City. You don't really, the details aren't gonna matter, you know, in the listing itself. You can find the same listing on Zillow. But what I wanted to do is pull up some photos of it and kind of give a rundown of, you know, or maybe tell if you want to just walk through kind of what you see on all these pictures. So on the front, looks like a really attractive, I think Tudor style house, right? So I probably wouldn't do as an investment property, you know, that much to the front. I'll say another thing too, as far as landscape goes, whenever you're looking at a property, don't dump a bunch of money into landscape. Usually we cut everything out and we put some boxwoods in there. I mean, keep it as cheap as possible. Kitchen, leave it probably.
Yeah, the kitchen looks like it's okay. I mean, it looks like it's got granite. Is that granite?
Yeah,
It looks like it is. Cabinets look decent.
So
Floors
this
okay.
isn't so he's never seen this property before. I pulled it up right before he came. So just because.
Depending on which route you're gonna take with it, I guess. I mean, if you're gonna rent it, I think this is just fine. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna, you know, if it's an owner occupant that's gonna buy it, they may want a little bit different kitchen, but for rental purposes, I think this is perfect.
Yeah, I think another thing too, you know, even for rental, maybe stainless steel appliances or even selling it, stainless steel appliances would go a long way. One thing you have to think about when you're analyzing a property, you might want to analyze it 2 ways. One, if you redid the kitchen and made this a brand new kitchen, you know, like really attractive, how much can the property sell for? Or are there other comps, comparable homes that allow for this type of kitchen to sell for a similar price? So again, like the realtors in the room, hopefully we're telling our clients, I don't know, I'm gonna make up a price on this one. We'll say $500,000. So this one could sell for $500,000. The other one, yeah, it's gonna sell for more. But,
Yeah.
But if this one is selling for a certain price, but we have to put, you know, $200,000 in, what is our actual net margin that we're making on the property? So I see it too many times where, and again, I'm just saying realtors in general, it would be very easy for me to tell a client to go in or tell one of you that are flipping a house, oh, I would take that kitchen out, redo the entire kitchen. That way we could sell it quicker. I would take the soffits out, you know, I would take the ceiling fan out, I would add can lighting, all these different things, but you really want to compare it to what the comps are selling for.
Maybe open things up a bit if you could.
And if you guys haven't been in this group, this is like an open dialogue group. So questions, or if you have a comment, if you've done a project before and you want to comment, that's what this group is a lot different than any other group out there. It's interactive.
Ceiling needs flat paint.
Yeah, like glossy paint. Yeah, like you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, paint is a
You know, like me personally, I don't like a ceiling fan in the kitchen. I'd rather just have a light, you know. Yeah, I'd rather just put a light in there and it's gonna cost $25. But yeah, kitchen, depending on what you're gonna do, be very careful opening walls in that, because we walk into houses all the time and everyone's like, oh, I'd open this wall and I would do that. What they're not thinking about is when you open a wall, you have to do flooring. You have to do the HVAC that's running up and down. You have to have an architect redraw plans, or you have to have a structural engineer do it. So just removing 2 feet of a wall could cost thousands of dollars. and not make that big of a difference.
Yeah.
So, oh, here's.
And as we know, I mean, as most of you know, kitchens and bathrooms are your big things, you know? I mean, that's where you're gonna get your biggest return.
That's the back side of the kitchen. I think most
So
people
they've got a
would
little
open that up, you know.
breakfast bar type thing. Yeah, I mean, it's okay, but
You might wanna just take that out. If there's a dining room or something, maybe you just eliminate that. You know.
it would seem a little more functional, I think, without it.
So,
Pantry.
yeah, so. Living room, looks like maybe radiators.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's probably gonna be a big thing. Chances are it doesn't have central air.
Right, yeah.
So that's a big expense to consider.
Yeah, so like when you're looking at, if you're just looking at a photo, like you don't wanna spend all day, especially if you're working full-time, to go look at a million homes, right? So I think if you get really good at kind of running an analysis on a property through photos and thinking, you know, just being able to say, okay, well, this one has a radiator, am I, now like from going this point forward, we're gonna see if we can find any air vents for central air, to see if it has central air or not. And again, you can also look in the listing.
Other than that floor, I mean, obviously the floor needs to go paint. And I mean, you
Maybe
could
remove those?
remove those. They're probably original.
Fine, yeah,
And it's character.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in a house like that, I don't know if I
and
would.
it's in U City,
Yeah, I think I would probably leave it.
so maybe, and then maybe an overhead light. So another thing a lot of people miss is
Yeah.
overhead light. When you're showing the property or someone wants to be there, you know,
A lot of these older homes don't
have overhead lights.
Yeah.
You know.
It's all just,
What about the texture on the ceilings and the walls? Is there any, do you, like, when you just compare to the comps and see, I mean, it's kind of the age of the house, but
the ceilings, I mean, they've almost gotta go. I mean, I think these,
If you renovate it depends.
If you
on-
yeah.
If you renovate everything, like if you were definitely gonna take out the bookshelves and that radiator comes out and it's more modernized, then I think you have to.
get rid of the
You know.
popcorn.
Here's the thing though, if you make the house like so attractive and the only thing that someone doesn't like is popcorn ceiling,
Yeah.
maybe they don't, you know, but I guess another way to look at this is if you cut a corner and it's a renovation or rehab, now people are wondering, they're gonna start looking for what else did they cut corners on, you know?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, ideally that popcorn, so here's a hack. Instead of scraping and repainting a popcorn ceiling, you can do 1/4-inch drywall right over it. Yeah, saves so much time on labor, so. And they're gonna have to cut a hole anyway and run up, they're gonna have to cut into this drywall. And you remember that one property that had the,
Oh, they just cut-
electric, yeah, they just cut up and put an electric, like,
Yeah, just-
on the ceiling.
just ran it on the ceiling. Why wouldn't you?
That was awesome.
Half bath.
So bathroom, like, so you're gonna get to a point where you just look at a bathroom like this and you say, you know, maybe $12,000-15,000. I'm assuming that the plumbing and the electric isn't updated.
Yeah.
You don't really need to see it.
It
you know.
needs,
I think on these older homes, if you're looking in the city also, these doors, you know, like a lot of people like to keep these doors.
the original,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's
speaking
all here.
of windows, like, so it looks like they have a vinyl window here.
No,
Is that vinyl or, oh, it's wood.
yeah, I think that's the
Yeah,
old,
with the metal clip on the top, still stained glass.
yeah, stained glass.
Yeah.
A lot of stained glass in this house.
Another opinion I have when I'm analyzing a property, if there was plumbing for a bath, if this bathroom had this bathroom was just trash and you couldn't use the toilet, you couldn't use the shower, it was like broken toilet, broken shower, it doesn't matter, you're still gonna budget the same amount for the bathroom. So I think often when we go into a house and it's just like a hoarder house or something and people go, well, like the bathroom needs to be completely renovated. It doesn't matter if tile's falling off or there's holes in the ceiling or what, you're gonna budget the same amount for a bathroom. Does that make sense? Like, if this bathroom was from the 80s and it was in perfect condition, you're still going to replace the bathroom, right? So I think that's another thing to think of. Doesn't matter what era it's from, if you're gonna replace it, there's a cost there. So probably hardwood floors.
Yep, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Under the carpet.
Yeah. So if you go to a house, easy way for hardwood floors is look in the closet or look under the, if it has,
This would not,
Yeah.
probably. Closets are, usually the best bet. And if it's exposed in another room, chances are it's probably gonna be in your main living areas.
Except we did that house we did in last February. That one didn't have hardwood floor in one of the bedrooms, but it had it in every other place on the main floor except for one bedroom. It was
Must have
really,
taken it out.
I don't know, it was really weird.
Huh, that is
Yeah.
weird.
So, again, I'm not seeing any lighting in here.
Are those plaster walls, you think, Chris? Or
I think
those
they
drywall?
are, yeah.
Cause that ceiling being curved like that kinda.
Yeah,
I guarantee the plastic, yeah.
yeah, I would almost guarantee. Again, you see a window unit, so again, central air conditioning, like that's a big, I was asking you about the central air because that's a big expense, you know, someone says like, oh, I just replaced my air conditioner last year, it was $5,000. But you had air ducts, there's no air ducts
Right.
here, so they
Put all the
either
duct-
have to frame out the wall, and, I mean, that's a lot of work to add.
I had to do it once in the house I lived in.
Yeah, how much,
Oh,
and that
wow.
was probably a while ago.
Yeah, it was 15, 20 years ago, and it was not cheap.
It was still,
Yeah.
expensive.
Oh,
so-
nor easy.
Yeah,
What kind of feedback do you get on renovations that use like the mini split ductless systems in these types of situations? Are those from?
they're,
Yeah.
people are,
Or are they?
mindful.
Seeing
They're
that.
high efficiency,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's a selling point, but
Yeah.
they seem like
Yeah.
they're almost
In addition,
DIY.
right,
Yeah.
right,
You
yeah.
know?
yeah.
But would that be possibly, you know, something that you would consider in a situation like this, you know, or do
So
you
the-
try to avoid that stuff altogether?
The problem is like how open the space is, for one, and then you have the actual like, compressor or whatever it is outside,
Right, yeah.
and you have multiple of those. I think another thing to take into consideration is, are those gonna get stolen? I know, like, depending on the area.
Yeah, I know North County, you drive around, you see everyone's got a cage around their outside unit, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That just happened to me last year. One of my clients had it stolen right before he was getting ready to buy it. They replaced it, so they replaced it.
Oh, we had, with the investor we work with, we had a 4-family, and they stole all the
Twice.
AC units. Yeah, twice. But then we replaced them all, brand new, and they took them again, and sold put it on the market, right?
Sold.
Done with this, yeah.
I have another question regarding that. So, can you obtain like separate insurance, like separate rider to insure things like that in high-risk areas to protect you against that type of activity?
For the,
Like if you know, that you're
Insurance,
gonna,
or-
like if you're gonna spend 30
AC
grand
units.
probably on air conditioning units, you know, for a 4-family, and then they get stolen, and you're like, man, I hope this doesn't happen again. I'm gonna get some insurance to protect me. Do those types of policies even exist?
I think
For that type of stuff?
it will cover theft, but it's gonna have to be, it's not really personal property.
Has
I
that,
don't
I
know.
mean, is that a thing, or am I
We
just
usually
making
just,
something up?
we usually
Like,
just eat it,
Gotcha.
like that one,
Yeah.
we just pay cash, I don't know.
Okay.
yeah.
In that regard, one of the properties that I had, I had bought a whole kitchen, it was after Black Friday, and I bought, you know, a stainless steel entire kitchen set. And I was there when they delivered it into the garage. And they weren't ready to install it just yet, and I got a call from one of the contractors, crew members, and he said, it's been stolen. So, I called the insurance company, because I didn't have insurance, and I did not know this at the time, that was before my license and everything. And they told me, they said, well, was it in the kitchen, like, was it attached? I said, no, it was in the garage. And he goes, that's your problem, he says, if it was attached, then it's real estate. But if it's unattached,
Personal.
then it's personal property. So I was like, crap, I should have told you it was attached. But that is what happens.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get it covered, yeah. And then I had to call the police, went around, had everybody check. One window they didn't check was the garage window. And I checked that one and that one was left open, so it was internal
Yeah.
job. But yes, that's what happens, so attach it before you cover them, or no. Don't have it delivered, plug it in.
Mm.
You're in heaven.
I'm just gonna skip through some of these so we can get to the worksheet, but again, paint, lights, you know, I would say another thing, don't overcomplicate it. Like, we've walked properties with a lot of people before and they talk about a room. You put a light in it and you paint it and maybe do baseboards. There's nothing to really do and
Keep it simple.
keep it simple. There's
Yeah.
nothing to do. And if you're tight on budget, maybe you throw carpet in there in a bedroom.
Yeah.
You know?
So in my limited experience with real estate, I've learned that paint adds up quickly, and it's deceiving how expensive it can be to paint a house. What's your take on, you know, going with committing to a color, like in this situation, versus just white for everything?
You'd buy like 5-gallon bucket of like gray, agreeable gray or something.
Like a neutral type color, and you're okay with that?
Tire house. And
You don't hear a lot of people balking at that or anything. You see people, keyboard warriors online complaining about how houses are all gray.
They're all the same.
You know,
They are.
They're all the same.
Yeah.
Okay, but that doesn't kill the
Again,
deal,
like
or
if
does it?
someone, if
That-
your buyer,
That's really what people are looking for. I
Still.
mean, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, yeah. I mean, these guys, we do the same thing on every one of them. I mean, it's, you know, a luxury vinyl floor that's a gray, gray
Yeah,
luxury
sure.
vinyl floor, a real light gray, paint,
white trim.
white trim, white shaker cabinets, and either granite or, a cheap granite or quartz, countertops.
Backsplash.
Backsplash, yeah, and a tile backsplash.
So, and I think that's
Okay.
the key, like when you're analyzing these deals and you do a bunch of them, then I think that's why I can say, okay, 1,000 square foot house, I'm gonna be all in at maybe 30 grand. Or 1,000 square foot house, you kinda can go back to another one that you did and you remember, you know. I don't know what that is that a hot tub? So, another bathroom needs to be.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Um,
Be done.
Bedroom.
Finished floors. and
I like how they got under the bed.
The loft.
Would you guys pull those out?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah. But you're gonna have, you know, plaster work there.
That's an
You
afterthought,
know,
probably, maybe?
no, that's probably the
That's
closet
style.
that they made, but, that gets a little difficult, you know. Looks like they might have another closet back here.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's,
Yeah, I can almost guarantee this house does not have central air.
Do they still make them AC units that go in the
Yeah,
attic and
yeah,
down?
so here's,
and do what?
The
they still
AC
make them,
units that have, my parents' house has in Melville, never had AC way back when. They put the unit up on the top and then just,
Oh.
there's tubes in the attic, just come down.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that once in a while.
yeah. Yeah, so here's heating and cooling on here, if you can see it, it's
Window. wall.
window,
Yeah.
window and wall. So another thing about heating and air is some type of loans won't, you might have to have, well, I guess they'll do window units.
Yeah, window units are fine.
Yeah,
They're
I think
fine,
so.
yeah.
This is a house on, remember, that we tried this out, Chamberlain. This looks just like it, all the, it's the
Exactly
same
the
like
same.
floor plan. Base.
Oh, yeah, we did the carpet squares.
Yeah.
All right, In a basement, my personal opinion is never finish a basement. I would almost every time just tear everything out. If I have something like this, I'm probably gonna, I don't know, where your dogs tear it all out.
Yeah,
Even
I
with
think
that.
so.
I just take it out, you know, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot to,
You can see it's been wet, there's water stains on the baseboards.
yeah.
Yeah,
What kind of feedback you get on paneling that's been painted over?
you,
I mean, you can
It's
make it
not
look
ideal.
decent, you know, but it's,
Do people balk at it? I mean, do they, you know?
hasn't really been, I mean,
because inventory's lower, you're still getting away with some things. But you can't
Oh,
get
right.
away with what you used to get away with, like last year or 2 years ago. You know,
no, yeah, within the past. or
when I say
2
get
years
away
ago.
with things, I don't mean illegal things. I just mean like not updating certain things.
Yeah, 2 years ago, you could get away with doing nothing, and.
Like you could
it's
sell
everything.
this house with the stuff in it, and someone would buy it.
Yeah, oh,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still kind of like that out there, or?
So, a little bit, but it's not, I mean, not like it was a couple years ago.
Mhm.
But you're gonna see, as the market starts to balance out, it's gonna be harder and harder to get away with doing anything like that. I mean, you're gonna have to, fix things and update things, and I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna be tough to,
As more houses come on the market, it gets obviously more difficult. I know you came to last meeting, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Nancy. Are you seeing, you know, there's a lot of talk out there right now that if people don't buy a house now, they might not ever be able to buy a house, or especially like younger people in general won't be able to buy a house because the prices are going up so high. Do you think it's important to buy now? You know, I think if the people were to go look back at 2020 and 2021 and they see these house prices, we would have to drop 20% to go back to that. You know, so there's a chance, like especially if you have kids, a lot of people are buying properties now and even keeping them as a rental because a starter home in a decent area is $300,000.
Yeah, it really depends on the neighborhood too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still competition if it's in a, desirable area, and if it's decent, there's still competition. Where you don't.
you're
see
still
it-
seeing multiple offers and
Right.
things like that, yeah, sure.
Right, yeah, depending on the property.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people, why wait? If you can do it now, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, the projection is that it's gonna rebound. If that happens, there's more competition.
Yeah.
The problem is the supply is still. low.
Yeah, right. And we've talked about it a million times in here, but people that are waiting for interest rates to go down, payment goes down, price goes up.
Yeah,
It
and,
just-
and more people are out there.
And more people are out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you're gonna have to give up more,
Right.
no inspection, all that stuff is gonna come back again. Which is why our job is very difficult right now.
So what are they projecting for the future?
You
Cause I
know.
know like McBride's just throwing up like 900 houses by me to meet the
So
demand for
the
housing.
the only,
So,
yeah,
you
the
know,
only thing
I
that's
mean, what's
saving
that
us
gonna
right
do?
now is new construction is because they're building more inventory.
Mhm.
But they're so far behind. I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
look at along like Chesterfield, those new apartments that are being built.
Yeah.
141 and Big Bend,
Yeah.
a couple years ago, they built these.
Yeah.
Tons of them.
Soho Lofts and Soulard, I think they have like 130.
So what's that gonna do to rates in 2 years and demand for?
I think
like,
an election
basically
year
less?
rates stay low.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not trying to get political, I think an election year rates stay low. Republican or Democrat, they stay low.
So I have.
Or,
actually-
well, low, they don't go up from where they're at very much.
Right, yeah, they wanna
Yeah.
make things look.
The economy needs to look as
There's no
best as
election,
it
we're really
can.
busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say, so I had read, I don't know if this is true in the St. Louis market, but I had read that in some markets, like new construction, the prices are staying high but they're coming with a ton of gimmies.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
so even though they won't lower the price, cause they don't wanna comp their own stuff low.
yeah.
In order, like, they're giving away the farm to get you to buy that house, so,
Yeah.
are you finding that?
Oh, so a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of the new construction, they're actually giving you a better rate. They're buying your rate down.
Right, that'd be an
Yeah.
example, like, of what they're doing, because, again, like, they don't wanna undercut
Yeah.
themselves for the future, cause then they can't get an appraisal.
Yeah.
To sell their other houses, but they gotta move inventory,
Yeah.
so they're just like.
Yeah.
I think we're just starting to see that again. I mean, it used to be like that once in a while, but I think now, yeah, I mean, it's starting to see that advertised where there's all kinds of incentives.
Well, and we're noticing
Yeah.
people in, like newer subdivisions, they can't sell their house because someone can just go out and buy a
Yeah.
new property for the same price.
Right, yeah.
We've tried.
Yeah, I mean, there's several of them where we've literally tried talking people out of selling their house. We're like, why would you sell? You have a 2% interest rate, 3% interest rate. You know, you could go from a, what was that, $300,000 house to a $200,000 house, and your payment's gonna be exactly the same. Exactly the same.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
that's discouraging, yeah,
Yeah.
So,
big time.
you know, another way, like a property, like if it's a higher end property, you know, another way to get in these properties is making it your own property. You're doing a home style loan or a 203K loan, FHA loan. So you could buy the property and do a renovation loan, if you're personally looking to move. So in the basement here, you know, garage, probably needs a garage door. Another thing to notice, no garage door opener, in here.
Don't see too often anymore.
Yeah, I don't know, that electric panel, I mean, probably
Needs to go.
probably gonna need to go.
Yeah, depending on the wiring too, if it's two-prong outlets.
Yeah, it's probably
and stuff,
two-prong
then
outlets, you know?
do a complete
So-
Yeah,
package.
yep, right.
So that's a problem there. You see a boiler
There's your boiler.
down here.
Those are hard to repair.
Some
Yeah,
people like work.
I think in, you know, in U City, yeah, who said it? Some people like radiators. I don't know who said it. Yeah, some people like radiant heat, yeah, yeah. And so it's not necessarily a bad
You
thing.
wouldn't replace it, you probably put it in
Yeah.
an air handler and get
Yeah.
first cooling air in and
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You can
Again, like
still put
somewhere
the-
like U City, people,
Or keep
they
both.
probably accept
Or
it.
keep both systems maybe.
Yeah.
You know, keep them going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but central air is a must, I mean, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
put.
Yeah. So, okay, and then let me just make sure I'm not pulling anything inappropriate up here. So, and then and then we have a sheet that just looks like this. It's just a repair estimate sheet. And then what we try to do is literally name everything that you can name, you know, so roof. Get with a roofer, maybe have them come to your house and get some ideas of a roof. What does it cost like per square? If they can just add, if there's just one layer of roof on there, can they just add another layer of roof? Is it a flat roof compared to a roof with a pitch on it? Does it have a really steep pitch that they're gonna upcharge you for that? I don't know, is it just leaking in one area? Let's see. So yeah, underneath the roof, the fascia and the soffit, is that gonna need to be replaced? But how much does that cost for a linear foot? How much does that cost for a square foot? Some of these prices are gonna be off. This is an older worksheet that we have. But another thing like you might not think about is, a lot of people don't think about the exterior of the property, and that can add up extremely quick. Gutters and downspouts. If the water is collecting in the yard, do you have to bury the downspouts on them? So finish, what type of siding does it have? Stucco, hardy board, vinyl siding? If it's brick, does it need tuck pointing? I don't know, if one of the windows on the inside are leaking, is it gonna need plywood replaced? So we try to really, you know, take a list like this and then as stuff comes up and there's things that aren't on the list, just keep there's like a living document. Just keep adding stuff to your, to it. And then as you're doing jobs, try to get a better idea of what each one costs. Concrete, block repair. If it has a fireplace, I don't know if that property did or not, but it probably needs a flue liner. Almost every single fireplace needs a flue liner. And if you don't know, we add it on here because we don't do inspections. Does it need power washing? So another thing, as you're going through this list, these are all the vendors that you need. Who do I know? Who are 2 guys that I know that can do roofing? Who are 2 guys I know that do gutters? A mason is really difficult to find. I mean, a good one that shows up. I think you have Morelli and who's the other big one?
Andre?
Yeah, Andre. Yeah, those are 2, ones that are actually going to show up that come to the top of my mind. Exterior painting, windows. So windows, I like to do a small, medium, large. So usually $300 for a small window. I'm not measuring each window. I'll just pull up the, I like to take pictures of every side of the house, but just kind of pull it up and go room by room. Doesn't need to be an exact number, but I'll definitely look at the windows and see if they're updated or not. Garage door is going to be another one, and then again, like, does it have you really have to learn about houses, and I think that's why my opinion is like a true investor in real estate is going to know more than the average realtor out there. They know, okay, it needs a garage door. Does it have a garage door opener? No. Where do you plug in the garage door opener? Is there electric there? I mean, there's all these things that you don't think about when you're going through these lists, and you're like, okay, it's only $100 to add an outlet. Well, now while they're in there, they can add other outlets, then those have to be GFI protected. Or are there outlets in there that aren't GFI protected? So now you have to go, in the garage, you have to be familiar with code. Landscaping, again, my take on landscaping, Kelly, I don't know. But
Yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't spend.
I love to sell a house in the winter.
It's gotta have, I mean, you gotta have curb appeal. It's
Yeah,
gotta
have
have
some
curb
curb
appeal.
appeal.
But, yeah, I wouldn't go overboard on it. It doesn't, I mean.
You're not putting
It's
like
gonna be a waste of money.
fountain with a circle driveway in front of these houses.
Right.
This one here, I'll see what, so this is definitely an older form. Concrete right now, I think it's like $11, $12 a square foot. That's a lot. I did a house in Baldwin, and it had one of those driveways that go all the way back and wrapped around, and then the driveways in the back. We had to do, Mark Walls did it for us. The entire garage floor, so a normal driveway, I would say like five grand maybe. It was like 20 grand. That's not in my budget.
Hey, Mark, how'd you get that one?
20 grand right there,
That'll change things real
even
quick.
if the house is in good shape and you miss that off, so a deck, this probably isn't accurate, but what I don't know, a 10 by 10 deck, our buddy Scott, I don't even know what a 10 by 10 deck would cost
Probably-
anymore.
We're doing composite
you know?
these days, that 10 by 10 deck is probably gonna cost you almost $15,000-$20,000 if you have to get permits and
Yeah.
put up like a vinyl handrail and
Yeah,
steps and
yeah.
all that, yeah, for sure.
That's a lot.
And that's 10 by 10.
10 by 10, yeah, it's a
10 by
small
10,
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
15, yeah.
So I guess, when
Over
you're,
$100 a square foot, I think is what composite decks are going for.
yeah,
right now,
I bet.
For sure.
yeah.
So,
So, but on the flip side of this, like as you're going through here, like start asking yourself, okay, it has a deck that's 3 feet off the ground. Well, I know it's $100 a square foot. Can I go to a patio that's $12 a square foot? Or what are my other options? Can we eliminate the stairs from a 2nd story deck so we can cut cost on that? A fence, like this is a big one. If you're buying in the city, like, a lot of the fences that I know, they're falling down in that.
Yeah.
I personally would never, ever put a fence up, unless I had to in a property. Yeah. Pools, he said that the one had the pool. As an appraiser, do they add value or do they subtract value?
Depends on the area,
right?
I mean, if you can find houses with pools, I mean, I think a pool is pretty subjective though and stuff. Obviously, the cost to put one in,
Yeah.
is, pretty high. I've always told people, if you wanna do that, that's something you do because A, you can afford to do it and you enjoy your time
Yeah.
you're gonna spend out there.
Yeah.
You know, if that's your criteria, then that's probably.
You're not gonna get your money
it's
back.
set
Yeah.
for it. It's not something, put in 50 grand, am I gonna get my money back out of it? Maybe, maybe not. It depends, this market's really kind of tough right now
Yeah.
with low inventory, so we're seeing things, that are still moving.
Yeah.
But I always say, it depends what the council, what the neighborhood is. And,
Yeah. There's a lot of houses that we didn't sell because they had pools.
Okay.
People say,
Yeah,
oh,
it's just-
we
it's a lot of
love it,
work.
but we have a 1 and a 3-year, we have young
For
kids.
3-4 months out of the year in St. Louis,
Yeah.
you get May,
Yeah.
late May, June, July,
Yeah.
August. September's been pretty good, so
Yeah.
you only get 4 months
Get a
out of the
couple
year.
months, yeah.
It's in-
And it is a lot of work.
And they're expensive to maintain.
A couple $1,000 you
Yeah.
gotta spend for sure.
But with the pool
Clothes,
shortage,
yeah.
I think it was adding value when everyone was booked out a year or two to put a pool in.
Oh, yeah, it was coming right, they were so
They're
backed
selling
up
them
with
for
the,
like $150,000 for a pool.
Yeah, that was kind of like a phenomenon, I think people were like cooped up and
Yeah.
like, now.
Yeah.
I want a pool. So,
Yep.
Jefferson County is primarily Jefferson County or St. Charles even, septic and well.
Yeah.
Does it have septic and well system?
Yeah.
Again, this is an old document, 15,000 for a septic, try 30 grand.
Yeah, no way.
You're probably at $30,000 for a septic.
That's-
That's
so.
a big deal, Jefferson County, I mean, there's
It's a big deal right now,
lot
they're
of-
flagging all of them.
Yep.
Which they should, really. I mean,
They
a lot of
should.
those were, they were terrible.
And depending on where you're buying, correct me, anyone who knows this, but depending on where you're buying, if there's a public sewer line close, you have to switch it to public
Yeah.
sewer line. If I forget how many feet, there's a cost.
If it's economically feasible.
Yeah, if it's
that's what
yeah.
the FHA says, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I mean, are you gonna connect to the sewer line depending on what that cost is, or, replace your septic system? If you're 15 grand for a septic system, can you connect to public sewer for 15
Yeah.
grand? Depending how far you are away and what the, cost is to
Yeah.
connect in, so.
Mhm.
But
So what would be the trigger to do that? The change of ownership would trigger that requirement to do that? or-
I think it's the permit of replacing it, right?
Well, I guess it could be like the county, depending on what they, is your septic bad, so either you replace
Yeah,
it
it's-
or you connect to.
Yeah, right.
the public.
Yeah.
With-
It's not
with-
when you have to buy
With
the property.
FHA financing, it's something that if you're trying to get an FHA loan, that if it's economically feasible and it's available, they're gonna encourage you to do it and probably roll the cost of that into your loan to obtain that property.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, sometimes.
it's
they'll
something a
make
lot of
you-
people don't know.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sometimes they'll make you do it just because it's change of occupancy, sometimes it's because you want to do other improvements, like either one of those could.
Add a bathroom, maybe,
Right.
Yeah.
trigger it. Yeah, so, the point of this, like, you have to know what you're doing, so again, like, I'll say, like, in my opinion, it's better to make a little bit of money and pay a mentor or partner with someone that's done this before than go into this blind and not, or you buy the house cheap enough, and I think even if you break even, or even if you lose $1,000, $2,000, you just paid $1,000 or $2,000 to learn how to flip a house. That's really not that bad.
Yeah.
I don't think, if you lose 20 or 30 grand, then you
That's
might not
why
want to do it
on
again.
On the high side,
Yeah,
it's like,
right,
to give
yeah,
yourself
put everything on, yeah.
Give yourself a cushion.
Again, just interior painting, maybe ask your painter how much to paint, 1,000 square foot house, 1,500 to 2,000, 2,500 square foot house, get a roundabout number. Hardwoods now, again, like as you're choosing your vendors, the more volume you're doing, all these costs are gonna go down, you know, as well. Carpet versus vinyl, tile, kitchens are you know, like this sheet's funny because it says kitchen 12.5. Probably gonna be about 20 grand now. Well, this says high-end kitchen, 12.5. So another thing about contractors, you have to think about right now, since they're in such demand, they can go out and do a $60,000, $70,000 kitchen easily. Why would they want to do your exact same kitchen similar? Maybe materials are different. Why would they want to do yours for 10 grand? You know, doesn't make sense. Appliances, same thing. I literally go into Lowe's, pick out 3 of the, you know, cheapest. It's not gonna matter if you put a Wolf or Sub-Zero appliance in a $200,000 or $300,000 house. They don't care. If you want to do a high-end property, you know, $1 million property, they're expecting that. I mean, that's an expectation that you have that. And if they don't see that in there, they're wondering how cheap of you know, kitchen and stuff did you do. Bathrooms, again, I would probably personally put a bathroom around 15 grand right now.
Is that letting it down to the studs or like?
Yeah, like a gut bathroom.
Take it all
Yeah,
down?
yeah.
Do the plumbing work too?
I mean, my goal in a bathroom, if it's a newer property, I'd like to just replace the toilet, vanity, kind of take everything out. I think you can get away with shower surrounds right
I was
now.
gonna ask, what are you seeing, what's like the threshold on where you guys start pulling permits and having the county come in and start taking a look?
None of that stuff would require
So,
necessarily,
as
because you
long as-
aren't doing any of the plumbing or electric. It's the older homes,
Right.
you
I think
know.
once you start doing fixtures in your shower and stuff.
Yeah,
for a private
yeah,
stuff,
changing a vanity,
is no big deal, and the toilet even is no. big
toilet's
deal.
not a big deal.
If you change the layout, then you're
You're changing the layout. Yeah, I think even changing the fixtures in your showers, fine.
Maybe.
You know,
Yeah.
but, yeah. A lot of that older tile, you can go over it with that vinyl, or you can just paint it, yeah, you can just paint it too. I think it's called Beckner painting. I think they do glazing of, tile pretty cheap. Again, framing, so some of these things, so a lot of these things you can probably find someone to do it on the side. Plumbing and electric, you really can't, because you're probably gonna have to pull permits for it. I mean, this list literally just, we keep adding, you know, insulation, walls, doors and trim. So here's another thing you have to think of. People say I'd replace all the doors. If you replace all the doors, you have to replace all the trim, right? I mean, your whole house is just connected.
right. All
with
flows,
each other.
yeah, it's like,
You just don't take out cabinets, because if they're not the exact same size cabinet, now you're doing the floors. And then you're doing, I mean, it just keeps, you know,
yeah.
adding up. Again, so if you notice basement here, paint floor, if concrete, sub pump, does it have it? Epoxy injections, we use Crack Wizard, they're easy. You know, but, yeah. And then HVAC, plumbing, electrical, yeah. Demo, I don't know, termites, does it have termites? Do you need permits? Yeah, and then this sheet that we have, it adds everything on the bottom. And then whatever that number is, I'm gonna take 10% and add that in as a buffer. So if I have a $50,000, well, I say I'm gonna add 10%, I'm probably gonna add even more than that. Cause I'm really conservative, but, yeah, questions on this sheet?
Sorry.
I mean, doorknobs, if you do doors, someone has to install them. You're probably buying the frame, you gotta buy the door handle, and then you have to buy all the other door handles for all the other doors, and let's say they were chrome and then you go black, yeah. Now you have to match all your light fixtures, and, I mean, So again, like sometimes it just makes more sense not to fix it, lower your asking price, and then the other person can do what they wanna do.
When I remodeled my house I live in now, it's 1,700 square foot with a full basement under it, so it's just kind of a normal size house. The two things that really snuck up on me that I was super surprised with were vent covers
Yeah.
and smoke detectors. By the time I bought that stuff, I was like, holy
Did they
crap, I think
make
I
you-
spent like $700 on that
Did
stuff.
they make you hardwire 'em?
Well, they were, no.
Yeah.
The basement's got some hardwired
Yeah.
ones in, but no, these were just like decent battery
Yeah.
powered ones with a light on them.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
They're expensive.
And the amount of vents was incredible too. And it just adds
Yeah,
up.
those are the things you don't think of. It's
Yeah.
like,
No, I didn't budget for it. I
Right.
did this and I didn't even think about that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of
Yeah,
course,
it
we're
adds
way,
up.
way under on the paint, but we're not gonna talk about that.
Well, you think you're gonna paint your house for like $500 or something, you know? It's
Oh,
just-
no, it was like $2,000.
Yeah, a lot cheaper than having somebody
Yeah.
do it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's
So,
outrageous.
questions or comments about this sheet? Does anyone is using a sheet like this or something similar?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think it's good. I don't know, have your contractor look at it and see what they think, you know, on this. So, another lesson that I learned, let's say that let's say it's a 1,500 square foot house and your roofer's doing the roof for 10 grand, right? But everyone else is charging you $15,000. Make sure you're putting 15,000 down, because if that person goes out of business, now you kind of screwed yourself. Or if they were doing, you know, if you were getting a deal on a gutter person or something and they were just way less than everyone else and doing it as a favor, and something happens to that person and other people are charging double, I mean, you're gonna get in trouble with that.
Have you had to work with like the notice of intent to sell, like when you do
Oh, yeah.
you know, a flip? and
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
disclose you have to have all your receipts.
Yeah,
and say,
good point.
okay,
Yeah.
You know, that's something that a lot of people don't think
Yeah,
about. If they
thanks.
want to get into fix and flip.
Yeah.
That you may probably have to show your receipts to
Yeah.
the title company if
Yeah.
you've done a bunch of work within a short period of time.
Yeah.
And to know that all those people have been paid and there's no liens that are still out there on the properties.
Yeah,
File the notice of
Yeah, that's something
intent
you
to
don't
sell.
find
Yeah.
out like the day before, oh, you have all my receipts, then what?
so,
You
yeah,
have to have that
so,
filed for 45 days. I think,
Yeah,
well, it could be sold 45 days after
Yeah.
that. So.
yeah, I think
so
File
what he's talking about
NOIS.
is when you buy a property with the intention of flipping it, even if you think it's gonna be a rental, at the title company, when you close, when you go to buy your house, just let them know you need an NOIS, notice of intent to sell, which is very important. They'll file it for you, and then as you're let's say you do a roof on it and it's 10 grand. You need a paid receipt and you need a lien waiver. It's stupid that you need both, because isn't the paid receipt saying that you paid for it, and isn't a lien waiver
Yeah.
saying that you paid for it? But you need both
right,
of them, so make sure you're filing those. Anything over $500,
Yeah.
right.
anything over $500.
So this is in addition to what is required in that disclosure form, or that is in that disclosure form?
Probably the buyer's gonna ask for it and the title company. Yeah, or the buyer's title company will probably ask
Is
for
there any
it.
significant expense with them filing that for you, that notice of
No.
intent to sell?
No, I mean,
I don't even know,
I don't
even know what it costs.
I don't even think they.
It's pretty cheap. I don't even know if they charge us.
They charge, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know what it costs.
EIN numbers, because if you pay over 600, your tax person has to send that.
Yeah.
99.
Yeah, that's a good point. too.
Yeah, true,
Yeah.
right.
So what's that again?
If,
You
it-
you can
Yeah.
explain it better, probably.
if it's over $600,
You
then
pay a vendor over 600.
they're gonna send a 1099.
Yeah.
So get their EIN number.
So you need a W-9 form.
Yeah.
A W-9,
From them,
it's
yeah.
got the.
Yeah, you need a W-9, and then you're gonna write that's an expense for your business, you're gonna give that to your accountant, and your accountant's gonna do whatever they do with that form.
That's a pretty good tip, that if you're going to do a fix and flip, anybody that you pay, do not give them a check until they give you the W-2 form.
Yeah,
So that-
otherwise they'll never give it to
Because
you.
otherwise, when you call them back, when it's time to file your taxes, hey, I need that W-2, they're like, what?
There's no
Yeah.
reason for them to give it,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, holding a check back for doing business the right way is
Right,
pretty much the only leverage you have.
right, yeah.
Especially when you're new to this, because what if you're gonna say, I'm not gonna use you again? They're like, well, you've only bought one house last year.
Right.
Like, I mean, okay, I mean, you don't really.
Tell everybody I know.
Like,
Speaking of painting contractors, what, do you have kind of a rule of thumb, like some of them want
Thirds.
some money up?
yeah,
So. when
yeah,
they
a
start-
third up front, a third second permit, and then a third at final. So, yeah, so they're gonna pay them a third up front, they're usually buying supplies and stuff with it. And then it'll have to be inspected, so like, let's say a bathroom. You got your bathroom, a plumber goes in, he does the rough-in plumbing, an inspector's gonna come out, you're gonna pay your plumber again, then they're gonna do the final after everything's closed up, and then they're gonna give them final payment. So, but they're never pay anybody up front.
Or when it's all done, it's always better.
Yeah, or if you can wait till it's all done, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be the best.
So, I mean, so another thing, like with a vendor that doesn't need their paycheck that day or another week, that might be another thing, I know this is gonna cost $5,000, but if you allow me to pay you at the end, I'll give you $6,000.
Window World
Grand.
had a deal on a house I did, you got 18 months free financing
Yeah.
on it, and it was like, so.
Their prices aren't that bad, really.
$30,000
Yeah.
bill with them, I think, on
Yeah.
windows, siding, doors.
Yeah,
Got 18 months financing, now, of course, I paid it off when I sold the house,
Yeah.
but, to do that, I guess.
But still, why
Yeah.
wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Free money, or
Free, yeah.
free, I mean, yeah.
yeah.
I got a question about that technique. So is the title company gonna wanna see proof that you've paid them off before you can sell that house?
Yeah,
Or
so
can you
I-
carry that debt with you?
No, I
after
had
the
to pay
sale?
it off for the closing, so I had
Okay.
line of credit, so I kind of let it float until right before closing, and then I paid for it all.
Gotcha.
And then they gave me the lien waiver and the paid receipt.
They probably,
But
did they
some-
did they record it against the property though? I
Um,
mean, I would think that they would probably record it against the property with the amount
Yeah.
that's large.
Yeah, I mean, I had a bunch of stuff done, but,
Well, cause it's,
yeah. It took about
it's
6
really
months
the,
to do this project, basically roof siding, windows, doors, kitchen, bathroom, a whole interior on a pretty big house, so, but
yeah,
that's a good thing if you have free financing for at least a few months on it
Yeah.
or whatever,
yeah. I think that reminds me too, like when you're doing this work and a hard money lender says they're gonna finance the repairs,
Yeah.
talking about installing it, let's say you buy all your you have 10 grand in kitchen cabinets, they're sitting in your house, your hard money lender is not going to give you that money for that. They have to be installed. Once everything's installed, then you can, so you're actually fronting all of that money. And then there's probably gonna be a fee, $150 fee or something, on top of that. So,
They come out,
cause they come out and inspect it.
inspect it, and
Yeah.
then give you a draw.
And then give you a draw off of it. So that's another thing, like when your lender, when they say they're gonna finance repairs, you're paying those up front. So that's what they usually require, you'd have some money in your account though. But talking about doing like 2 or 3 or 4 at a time,
Do you use hard money lenders typically, or do you use local banks? or do you-
I will,
Mhm.
yeah. I like local banks,
Sure.
but, I'm just don't do as many as I did at one
Sure.
time. So, yeah, I'd say hard money, but I was really against hard money for a
It's a little bit more
long
expensive,
time, but it's short term. So, yeah, the last couple ones we did were DSCR loans for rentals,
Okay.
so, but with interest rates going down, I don't know, yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah. But, cool. All right, we usually just hang out. Oh, the sales pitch. I forgot. So today, no, so we don't have anything to sell. The one thing we ask is everyone comes, hang out, tell people about this. And then, yeah, just, maybe share information with somebody, connect with them. Cole, you had the sign-in sheet. If you put your phone number on the sign-in sheet, which I don't know who did, but if you put your actual phone number on there, I'll call you, and I'd like to just learn more about, what everyone's looking to do. So that's one thing that we did poorly admittedly last year, is we would do these meetings and we didn't take our own advice, and we would do the meeting, then we say, that meeting was awesome, we met so many people. And then we just, and then we got busy.
Call them and then it'd be the next meeting.
We just get busy, and then we'd see people at the next meeting. So our goal as a team, this is Cole in the back, he's on our team as well. We also have a girl named Grace who's on our team, our immediate team in St. Louis. And our goal for this year is really connect with people, build relationships. And there might be something where you came in a lot of money and I say, hey, I know he's looking for a 30 unit, and we find it and we say, well, we want in on it somehow, you know, we figure something out. So that's how we profit from this group. Full transparency is by doing deals with people in the group. That's what we're looking for. So we figure if we help enough people make money, they'll continue to come back. And then if, like, you know, you've already done 3 deals already. So it's like the more you're doing, then the more the group as a collective is doing, and then we're all kind of, you know, in this together. So, cause especially now, you look at what, 3-4 houses a day, and it's very difficult as an investor right now, because an end user buyer, that's a handyman who can buy a house like you did and fix it up, might just go in and buy it in this market. Where just
They can pay.
they can pay a lot
They can
more.
pay a lot more, yeah.
Yeah, because they're doing the work, they're not hiring anybody, you know? So, yeah, cool. Let's hang out for a little bit and then we'll